The battle in Minimax isn't going to be boring without Taylor Orridge. You've got Noah Wolf and Finn Leslie on the front row of the grid for this final. Sebastian Mins and Josh Graham. Thomas Minspearing and Will Murphy from Liam Hartley. Freddie Housley, Harry Bartle and Alexander Zingarevich in the top 10. And that's just for starters. Look back, you've got Quaker and Walker, Majauskis and Buck from Gabe Cullen and Dana Moore, Will Murtock, Lewis Goff, Jack West and Jack Thompson in the top 20. And then even further back, there's even more talent. Minimax is just full of it in 2022. Simpson and Mentia, then Oscar Cartmail and David Vichachor, Gregor Reed and Dan Kirkpatrick from Michael Dalton and Victor Hansen, Hipkins and Tomilewski way down the order, and then Smith, Salvadori, Very and Alex Reed. Ready, and we are underway, and it's already a little bit close for comfort between Wolf and Leslie. They actually banged wheels as they came across the line, but they managed to get through unscathed, and Wolf has dropped back to third as Josh Graham has got himself up in a second behind Leslie. So Noah Wolf had to concede there as we ride on board with Harry Bartle. He gets a little bit too close to the back of Liam Hartley, and Hartley drops back in the Jack Dex machine. So as they go down the hill and in through the hairpin, there goes Graham through to the lead past Leslie, and side by side Leslie and Wolf again, but the door's left open. There goes Sebastian Mins. Mins is through in a third position. It's all kicking off here in the first lap at GYG.
It certainly is. Mins is a hard charger, we know that, and he took the first opportunity given to him and he went straight past. So Mins up into third place. Noah Wolf has won the first two super finals at rounds 1 and 2, we know that. But he's going to have it all on today. This is a really highly competitive class, no doubt about it.
So Finn Leslie is already breathing the exhaust fumes of Josh Graham's machine up in front. Graham just controlling the pace for the moment, trying to settle into a rhythm. You've obviously got the frenetic nature of the first lap. He's managed to break himself into the lead. Now he's got to settle in. You've got to look after the tyres, look after the brakes, manage the engine temperature. They'll be able to do that from the dial on their steering wheel. They'll know how hot the water's getting. They'll know how hot the engine's getting. They can regulate it as they lift and coast in various parts of the course. So they've obviously got to make sure they are very delicate all the way through. In Leslie, he set the fastest lap of the race there. 44.203. Josh Graham, Leslie, Mins, Wolf, Murphy, Freddie Housley, never out of the top 6 these days, Freddie, and it's great to see him there again. Harry Bartle for the Albone Racing Department is our cameraman as these two continue to squabble for the lead.
I'll tell you what, Jake, just look who's in 21st place. He started on the back couple of rows, Josh Salvadori.
He's made up 10 places already.
Yeah, he's already up to 21st place. That is a great effort.
I'm absolutely stunned. That's incredible comeback driving from Salvadori. He's made more progress than Tomilewski, who we have come to expect as a fast mover through the field. But Tomilewski, of course, not long fresh out of the world of cadets, so he's obviously learning on the job in Minimax. Graham leads Leslie, Mins and Wolf, but there is still a lot of time to play with here. We stare at Michael Walker, who's about to make a move on us as we ride back on board with Harry Bartle. That was lovely from the Red Speed driver. No worries at all there for Michael Walker to get into 8th position up towards Spoon Corner. Meanwhile, back at the front end of the field, it's getting pretty hectic. In the middle of the field, it's even more so. This is Cullen, Thompson, Dana Moore and Alex Zingarevich as they battle over 12th position. Is there going to be a side-by-side run from Thompson? Yes, but he's left the door open for Dana Moore. Great midfield action, even a little bit of wheel banging, but there's been a lead change up front. Kev has seen it. What can you tell us, mate?
Well, that group of 3, they have been leading for most of the race, but then on lap 6, it was Josh Graham who lost first place to Finn Leslie. Sebastian Mins now finds himself in second, and Josh has got work to do from where I'm standing here in the middle of the track if he wants to get himself back out in front. Exciting stuff then in the Minimax Super Final.
But in the middle of all of that, Wichita went off trying to avoid Zingarevich and Thompson banging wheels. That got a little bit heated. Here comes Dalton up in the air as he tries to get past Oscar Cartmail. He was so lucky not to get sideswiped by Gregor Reed as he went past. Goodness me, Michael Dalton, the scariest of moments. Look, he tries to get the gap on the inside, but Cartmail's accidentally drifted slightly closer to the right than he was expecting. How close was Gregor Reed? He almost went straight into the near side corner. Here comes Bartle diving up the inside. This is a replay of his move on Walker. So a very nice move, and there's not an awful lot he can do about that when he has to let Harry Bartle go. So the battle still joined up at the sharp end of the pit. Kev, I think, has got a weather update. Have you got your coat on, Kev?
definitely now. I'm in the middle of the circuit, just by the start-finish line, and there are spots of rain falling. We're going to see a wet weather race for the final 6 minutes or so of this one. It's going to be really, really exciting.
Well, Kev might be about to put the brolly up, but the drone pilot is still flying, so clearly it's not wet enough to bring him into land. And that's the weird thing about GYG. You can see spots of rain now appearing on the drone camera, but this is a weird circuit, Alan. We've said it time and time again about Glenagorse. This is Spa in the UK. There are patches of the circuit where it rains and other parts where it stays dry.
Yeah, certainly where the drone pilot is, it's not raining at the moment, so he's happy to stay up. And if there was any thought of it raining, then he'd be landing, no doubt about it. Down the hill one more time. Action throughout the field. Great battles throughout.
Well, I think we're about to get a little bit of a spicy duel for first and for third, because you've got Leslie versus Graham. There they are. And look back, you've got Murphy versus Wolf. So there are two duels going on here. And if the rain comes down, then keep an eye on the likes of Freddie Housley and Thomas Mintz Spearing in behind Sebastian Minz. They're going to want to try and make an impact in these last few laps. And they're definitely going to want to make... Josh Salvadori continues his charge forward. He's up in P16 now.
Yeah, and Victor Hansen's on the move as well, Jake. He's made up a load of places as well, Victor. He's in 24th currently.
That's impressive. That's really impressive. Kasper Tomilewski's come up through the field as well, notably. So he's made up some positions now as we watch in the midfield. There is Josh Salvadori in the 110. He's going to make another move. Is he? Oh, a spin. How did he save that? As side by side he goes with Ben Simpson and Alexander Zingarevich. That is the save of the century. He had the full four-wheel drift, and somehow Josh Salvadori kept it pointing in the right direction. That was like Tokyo Drift.
Manages to hold on to it. Victor Hansen, by the way, on the last lap, he's made up a load of places, then lost 3. Noah Wolf now with the fastest lap. We're back on board with Harry Bartle, and this is round 3 of this battle.
Yes, indeed. It's Ding Ding back to your corners once again in the red shorts. It is Michael Walker in the grey shorts. It's Harry Bartle again. And they're going to go down the straight as they head towards the hairpin. Still, those two are locking swords. It's going to be very tricky to see who comes out on top. And look, third position, that battle has caught up to the leaders. So now it's a quartet. Graham, Leslie, Murphy, Wolf. And only a couple of seconds back is Sebastian Minz with Freddie Housley and Thomas Mintz Spearing still waiting in the wings. So a lot can still change. Murphy gets the fastest lap under his belt, a 43.439 on that occasion. But Leslie is going to try and make the move here on Josh Graham. He doesn't want to wait around, and he certainly doesn't want to give Will Murphy any opportunity to get through on the inside. But that little bit of psychological rain is certainly starting to make the top of the tyres just that little bit more greasy into the braking zone. The back end's going to start ticking out a little bit. So the drivers have got to be very careful. As they get too much wheel spin, the back end's going to want to overtake the front. So they've got to balance the car. They've got to blip the throttle a little more in the drizzle than they would have done in Bone Dry.
Yeah, I'm not sure where Kev is feeling the rain from, to be honest. I
Oh,
don't
Wolf!
think it is raining, but
Wolf
Wolf
gets
down
moved.
the inside. So the winner at rounds 1 and 2, trying to cap this off with his 3rd super final victory of the season. More battling in the midfield. Fantastic battling throughout.
Yeah, that's Tomilewski. Kasper Tomilewski gets his move on Oliver Hipkins there. Great overtake from Tomilewski. Very hard to get done in the compression complex as well. You've got to be brave and you've got to be confident to put your car in the inside line and hope that it turns in without a nasty flick of the back end. So Tomilewski really getting into the hang of Minimax now. It's not going to be long till he's winning races regularly.
Absolutely. And in amongst that gaggle, you've got Lewis Goff, Oliver Hipkins, Kilpatrick. Hansen's still there. He's made up another 2 places. He dropped 3. Now he's made 2 of them back. So Victor Hansen's up and down like a yo-yo.
And despite his run off on the grass, David Vichachor is still in the mix of it. He hasn't dropped to the back of the field by any stretch of the imagination. And he is still trying to make up progress as we watch Leslie dart around behind Josh Graham. Noah Wolf still has time. He was the winner in round 1 and 2. He's in 3rd now, but he's still got time to make this count as we ride back on board with Bartle, with Walker and Hartley now reading him in once again. So Walker just trying to get a little bit more speed. You can see he's just trying to get closer off the apex. This is where you've got to read what the driver in front is doing and try and hang in behind him. Hope that he's going to make a little bit of an error as the leaders once again go into another lap. They complete lap 17. And this is a very quick lap here at GYG, so you get an awful lot of track time in these finals. Here comes Walker again. Now watch, he's going to get the slipstream here with Bartle. Catches, nudges. Up through towards Spoon Corner. Can he dive in on the inside? Bartle is keeping that cart ridiculously wide. There's no gap on the inside line.
You can see from the onboard camera, though, up Dragon Straight, 220 metres from the apex of turn 1 to the apex of turn 2, the blind brow. It's 220 metres there. You can see how valuable the slipstream is, even in a cart.
So out of the rib crunch up and across the line to go into another lap. There's 2 to go by my math. They might even get 3, actually, as they cross the line with 50 seconds to spare. So they might just get a 3rd lap in out of that. But certainly now it's the business end of the race, and they're trying to drop Will Murphy, these leading trio. Graham, Leslie, Wolf, down the hill, up into the hairpin once again. This is about who blinks first now. It's essentially about who decides to make the big bid. At the moment, Graham isn't defending too aggressively. Leslie's just trying to get him under false pretenses, and Wolf is trying to sneak up the inside line. And watch as they drop through the compression complex. You'll notice that the karts have a tendency of having 2 wheels, possibly sometimes it's often 3, but yeah, they are going to get another lap in as they cross the line. But sometimes you get 2 or 3 wheels on the deck and 1 or 2 wheels in the air as you use so much attrition through those drops of camber. It's so physical. That's going to play its part in the latter stages of the race, because they're going to be worked out physically. They're also going to be pushing the tyres as well. A little bit of a twitch there from Leslie. Wolf is backed up into the path of Murphy again. This is going to be very tough indeed for Josh Graham to hang on to in the lead. Leslie 2nd, Wolf 3rd, Murphy 4th. Blink and you'll miss the move, because this is going to be very close for the last lap and a half.
Yeah, nothing in it. The Wolf is definitely hunting his prey, you might say. Sorry for the pun, but absolutely Noah Wolf, as we said at Warnlaw last time, he was sitting 2nd then, and he won't want to accept 2nd, even though the points are good. Same will be the case today. He will hope that Finn Leslie here goes for it, and he goes with him.
Here he goes, but that's well covered off by Josh Graham. He couldn't get the move on the inside line, but Leslie was definitely going faster. Now Graham has thrown the anchor over the side of the ship. He is going to defend to the inside line, and he's going to hold to cover as much as physically possible. It's going to be so difficult to hold this inside line as they go through the right switches. Out through the hairpin, Leslie tries, can't quite get alongside. Dives in through the rib cruncher, out through Devil's Elbow. Is there going to be a chance? There isn't, and it's going to be close to the line, but it will be Graham in front of Leslie and Wolf. 83 thousandths of a second at the line as Bartle's going to watch as up the inside Hartley tangles with Walker in the final bend. Oh, Walker, oh my goodness. He gets back on the road just in front of Finley Buck. But how close was that to a massive accident, as unfortunately Walker gets spat out of the train there in his battle with Liam Hartley and then gets back on. Finley Buck is the luckiest man in history. He just misses the recovering cart. That could have been very, very nasty indeed. Graham takes the win then from Leslie, Wolf and Murphy, from Mins and Freddie Housley, Thomas Mintz-Spearing, Harry Bartle, Liam Hartley and Finley Buck in the top 10. 18 places made up in the end by Josh Salvadori and 12 made up by Victor Hansen. Great work from those two.
The man that was always there or thereabouts throughout. He was leading, then he fell back, and then ultimately got himself back out in front, was Josh Graham. Well done to him. Let's go and see what he had to say when we caught up with him at the podium.
Josh, your team boss at Argenti, Ron Meadows, going to be very happy with that result, I think, but that was a tough one, wasn't it?
Yeah, just had to keep myself cool and just never give up.
And with the battle at the front being as tight as it was, were you always aware of the position you were in and what you needed to do the rest of the race to hold on to it?
Not really, I just focus in front of me, just get on with the race and win.
Okay, great result for you. Who do you want to thank?
I'd like to thank Argenti Motorsport, Carter Public Chassis, Ted Stove, my dad and anyone else, and Ogden Race Engines.
Okay, well done.
Thanks.
We got good points, so we've closed up on the championship leader now.
Yeah,
not too far
certainly have. And your success this weekend, who's that to?
I'd like to thank Cream Racing Engines, Sam Pollock Racing, and all my family for coming to support me.
Okay, well done.
Thank you.
Our exhaust cracked, so we had a little bit less power in the final, so I had to salvage some points, and that's exactly what I've done.
And that's your mindset, isn't it? You know, when things aren't going well, you've got to stay in there and get the best points that you can, and that's what you did, and that's the sort of experience. How old are you now?
I'm 12.
So 12 years of age, it's a great mindset to have. What about your success this weekend? Who's that down to?
My mechanic Sam, Synergy, KR, and all my partners, and UKC for running this amazing event.
Okay, well done.
Noah Wolf there, looking very strong in the lead of the title fight. 22 points now ahead of Josh Graham, 23 ahead of Finn Leslie, and 27 ahead of Sebastian Mins. Freddie Housley and Will Murphy are still in the hunt, and the top 10 rounded out by Bartle, Spearing, Hartley and Buck.